Let's go to Caroline Woods in New York, who's looking at perhaps maybe a respite at Caroline. Cava, can they give us some stable numbers after selling off pretty hard from last earnings? Stock's down significantly. I can't imagine we're at a place yet where people are, cutting off their fast casual launch. I don't think so.
Well, Cava has touted its value proposition and, the fact that consumers are not just price conscious, but also conscious of their well-being, and they offer, a healthy alternative to some of the other fast foods. So still expecting some pretty impressive growth rates, but shares of Cava are under quite a bit of pressure today ahead of these results. They're down about 4% right now, and it's been a pretty rough start to 2025. If you take a look, down about 25% in February alone, but still up about 100% over the past 1 year, about 40% away from all-time highs. So, as we said, earnings out today after the bell. In terms of what numbers we'll actually be looking for, adjusted EPS of 6 cents on revenue of $225.5 million. That would represent 27% year-over-year growth. Now, just to put that in perspective, that's for the fourth quarter. For the third quarter, Cava posted 39% year-over-year growth, and revenue came in at $241.5 million. So it's actually a sequential decline. Analysts looking for same restaurant sales growth of 18.3%. Last quarter and third quarter, that was 18.1%, so a sequential increase in same restaurant sales growth. Last year, that figure was 11.4%, so also pretty impressive year-over-year growth as well. Cava, as I said, had said that its unique value proposition and also just the well-being conscious consumer has certainly resonated. Their menu has resonated with consumers. They also believe that the demise of dining rooms is largely overstated, and they're really trying to put a lot of initiative into making their dining rooms a warmer color palette, more plants, a more softer seating, a nicer place to be, because they say that their consumers want a place to sit with their family and friends. So we'll see if some of those investments are paying off. Also, some of the newer menu items like steak, like their ranch pita chips, had been driving growth. So we'll see if that continues to be the case and if they have any new menu items that they're going to be launching. I will say analysts are pretty split on Cava heading into this report, likely due to the fact that it has seen some pretty impressive growth over the past year, although well off the highs. If you take a look at the breakdown, no sells, so there are no bears on the street for Cava, but 47% of analysts rated as a buy and then 53% rated as a hold. That being said, the median price target is $145, which is essentially $45 or 45% higher than where it's currently trading. So the majority of Wall Street analysts see it going back to those all-time highs over the next 12 months, but doesn't look like it's making any progress on that front today, with shares down about 4%. We'll see if earnings change that.
I know, you kind of had me at ranch pita chips. I still haven't tried Cava, amazingly.
Really?
Yeah.
So I know that the Chicago location
was
having quite a few long lines. I remember hearing that. I think a couple earnings calls ago, they were talking about how popular that location has been. I will say, I probably almost 10 years ago, maybe like 2016, 2017, 2018, all pre-COVID, Cava was one of my favorites. You had to specifically go to the Union Square location because there weren't almost 400 locations like there are now. But there's a lot of competition now, I think, in that space around here. And I don't find myself going to Cava as much anymore.
All right. I guess maybe there is, I don't know, Google's saying there is one downtown on Kinsey, but I thought it was out on the burbs.
They had really long lines when it opened, actually.
I didn't realize it was right downtown. Okay. I guess I got to get with the program. All right. Well, the stock's gone hit pretty hard, and it doesn't seem like the business model has deteriorated significantly. So maybe it was just kind of it got pretty expensive as far as like fast casual food restaurants and stocks go. So maybe it just needed a little reset, but it's reset to 200 times forward earnings. So it's, I don't know, a lot of folks would argue maybe it needs to reset more.
But, I mean, looking to deliver almost 30% revenue
That's
growth,
amazing.
18% same restaurant sales growth, so quite a bit higher than so many of the other restaurants that we talk
nothing else
about
like that
in terms
out
of
there.
stocks.
Yeah, that's one of a kind. Appreciate it. Thanks, Caroline. Good setup on the numbers. Let's trade it with Tim Biggam, options strategist at Buy Alerts. Tim, stocks come off pretty hard, but 200 times PE for some garlic pita chips. I don't know, man. It feels like this might be a Biggam fade.
It's actually a Biggam buy, but
wow, let's go
levels.
for it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
looking to go out this week, kind of like ANET last week. The implied vol this week is off the charts, nearing 200. So the fact that stock has been absolutely taken out to the woodshed, I think, gives me a little more bullish outlook, although not here. I'm looking to be a buyer. If it drops down to 95, which basically equates to the pre-gap from 2 earnings reports ago, so we have some gap support down there as well. Stock is oversold as it has been over the past basically 2 years here. Valuations certainly, don't even come to play on this kind of stock. People are just buying into the idea or not, similar to many other stocks out there. We're seeing that Momo kind of, belief certainly tested here, but I think a further drop, you might see some buyers step in, certainly some even short covering as well. So I'm just going out and selling this week's 95, 93 put spread, getting well over 50 cents for that trade. So love the risk return profile on this. Still have a very nice cushion of about 5% on the trade. Earlier in the day, it was right at that kind of expected move range of a little over 10% by the options market. So I don't think we're going to see quite the bloodbath given the bloodletting we've seen in Cava so far here. I have never been to Cava. I'm more of the Cava wine connoisseur than the food connoisseur, but certainly these kind of places I think are attracting the younger crowd. And that's really where you want to hang your hat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the trade I think is respects its momentum in culture and to the point of sales that Caroline mentioned. 30% is huge. So it shows some appreciation for that, I think. And it's also closed the gap from 2 earnings ago. So technically, to your point at 99, $100, you would think there might be some technical support.
Yeah, somewhere around here, I think you will see people just step in to kind of, take even a speculative stance on the stock that has beaten up so badly here. I mean, we are looking at technical metrics that I haven't seen not only in Cava, but just generally over the past year or so. So this stock getting deeply oversold, I think, the fear factor will help support the stock as well. At some point, the nervous longs will be washed out, and that's when you usually see a tradable bottom. And I think it'll be somewhere probably around even here or perhaps a little bit lower. I don't think the earnings, unless they're an absolute blowout or miss to the upside or downside, will have too much effect here. Momo is kind of gone in the market overall. I think these stocks will probably bleed out sideways for the next several months, simply because momentum is gone, but they are getting deeply, deeply oversold.
Understood. All right, fair enough. Like it. Tim Biggam stretching for the Cava. For the Cava spread, selling it to the downside. You're not, ripping it to the upside, though, so you have some, balance to this trade, of course.
Trying to keep a little semblance of sanity, which generally with me is a tough proposition overall.
Love it. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the trade.
You bet.